One of the most asked questions among the Christian faith, and probably a question that most of us have wrestled with at some point in our faith, is why does God allow bad things to happen if the scripture says that he's so good and that he's so just? And one of the most prominent examples of this that people bring up is, why did God flood the earth and kill so many women and children and and all back then, when they quote unquote did nothing to deserve it? I think the first thing that we have to realize when we're asking ourselves this question is that, like, no matter how young or what they did back then, all of those, there was nobody on the earth at that time that was innocent. All of them had sin, and because they had sin, they all deserve to be judged. And I guess you could kind of compare it to, if like if like you're a parent, and say you're a judge at like a court, and one day you're like doing your job as normal, and then your son or daughter comes up onto the stand. It's your job as the judge to put your personal feelings aside and give out justice the way that it needs to be given out. And even though you obviously don't want your child to go to jail or get a ticket or whatever the case may be, it's still your job and your responsibility to act out that judgment regardless of that personal connection. And that's the same situation that we put God in when we sin. And the question and the thing that we have to realize is that everybody on earth deserves to be judged, and everybody on earth deserved to be washed up in that flood because of their sin. But even though that we deserved it, God still gave us a way out through Noah and him building the ark. Because Noah built the ark for 120 years, and throughout this entire 120 years, Noah was telling people, "Hey, so as some point in the future, God is going to rain down so much water that the entire earth is going to be flooded. But I'm gonna build a boat so that we can be saved." And nobody believed him. Over 120 years, or it was either 120 or 140, I don't remember exactly, but over all those years, not a single person believed him. And that's how, and like the ark is symbolic for what Jesus Christ is for us now. Like we have this prophecy that one day Jesus Christ is going to return and judge the world, and only those who believe in him will be saved. In the same way that in the Old Testament, God, there was a prophecy that God had given Noah that one day he was going to rain down water from heaven to flood the earth, and only those within the ark would be saved. And so the ark was meant to be. I do believe that this story actually did happen. I do believe that the story of Noah and all that actually did happen. But the story of Noah and the ark was meant to be symbolic of what Jesus Christ would do in the future. And just like back then, when people were hardening their hearts and they weren't listening to Noah when he was warning them, it's just like in modern times, where people will hear the message of the gospel, and people will look at Christians like they're crazy, like like they have some kind of mental illness or this, that, and the third. When and that's how probably how people looked at Noah back then. Like they had this guy. Like, imagine being alive back then and like this random guy that you don't know is just coming around saying, "Hey, God is gonna it's gonna rain down so much water that everywhere on the earth is gonna be flooded." Like you'd probably look at him like he was crazy, think he was talking a bunch of craziness. But it's through Jesus Christ that we can have the faith to believe in him now to be saved. And a lot of the time I'll hear people say like, how cruel could God be to like kill all these children and like people that are like 5 years old, 10 years old? But the real question that you have to ask yourself is, how cruel are the parents to hear the warning and still leave their children in the danger zone? It would be the same thing as like if somebody told you that a volcano was about to erupt and you just still left your kids in the house and you went on to work somewhere, even though you've been warned that the volcano is about to erupt and you have all the evidence that the volcano is about to erupt, but you still leave your kids. That's not the volcano's fault for erupting. That's your fault for leaving your kids in danger.